We are honored here on Lessons in Leadership to be joined by two of our friends and colleagues, Michele Siekerka, President and Chief Executive Officer of New Jersey Business and Industry Association, one of our longtime partners, and also Lori Roth, Chief Executive Officer at Prager Metis CPAs, and NJBIA Board Chairperson. Good to see you, Michele and Lori.
Good to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Michele, isn't it? Let's just say this: I believe it's great to be together in person, and I'll be together. Full disclosure, Lori and her team, Emerging Leaders, we actually have a seminar that I'm doing the next couple of days after we're taping this in Atlantic City. It's great being in person. Michele, how much easier is this?
Well, this is easy for sure. I mean, you kind of plug in, you pop on, right? But it is one-dimensional. We have to remember that. So, we don't get to have that fun sidebar, the little chuckling on the side, the before and the after. But this works, right? We've made this work. We've absolutely made this work, and this provides efficiency in ways we didn't have before. So we'll take it.
Yeah, and also traffic in New Jersey is always fun. So,
Yeah.
Lori, and let's be clear on this. We've been partners with Prager Metis for years. They're one of our sponsors for Lessons in Leadership. We've done leadership coaching there for years. But what's interesting to me, and Lori and I were having this conversation the other day, you're the board chairperson at the Business and Industry Association, but you're also a CEO. And this is the thing we were talking about, and I keep thinking about this. Is there any significant difference in being in board leadership versus executive leadership? Lori?
Yeah, there is a difference. I think that the goal is the same. You want to lead the team, whatever that team is, whether it's the board, whether it's the firm and the partners at the firm. I think one of the big differences is that NJBIA is a strong organization with a strong team in place, and the board is in a support role to the organization rather than in running the organization, because Michele and her team are basically doing my role for NJBIA, right? So they're running the team and running the organization similar to how I'm running the team and running the organization at Prager Metis. So there's definitely a difference, because if the organization is strong and set up properly, the board is in a supportive role to the organization.
Along those lines, Michele, before Mary jumps in, how important is Lori's leadership and guidance, not the right, well, feedback, whatever you want to call it, partnership, collaboration to your leadership?
Incredibly important. I brag every day about the incredible board of trustees we have at NJBIA. And what we've built in that board, their sage advice, their support, and their resources that they bring to the table is invaluable to helping us to execute. They help to set the vision along with us, and then we go off and we execute. But having their subject matter expertise around the board and having their input and feedback around the table is invaluable.
Yeah. By the way, go on our website and follow up with the BIA website. Our content airs and not only is broadcast and distributed through the magazine New Jersey Business, but we also collaborate and cross promote each other. Mary, jump back in.
Sure thing. Lori, one thing that I know just from working together with you, working together with Michele, NJBIA offers a ton of great seminars, workshops. There's a ton of great resources. Go to the NJBIA website to really just get those valuable resources about talent development and how to lead your team. Lori, can you just talk a little bit about what that means, not only at NJBIA, but also at Prager Metis? How important is it for succession planning that you are developing your team?
Oh, it's very, very important. I think that, that's one of the keys to everything, is being able to support the organization through its people. And it's the same thing with NJBIA supporting the business community. And so that all of the businesses can take advantage of the tools. They've been designed on purpose to support the business community. And I think we have to do that internally in our organization. There's often times when we can take advantage of some of what NJBIA offers. And there's also times for us as a service provider to our clients that we can refer them to NJBIA to have those resources available as well. So it works really, really well together. But to me, and we've talked about this before, your people are your gold, right? For us, we're in a professional services organization, and that's all about the people that are providing the services. So whatever you can do to support the people and provide the best things for them that you can, it comes back trifold in, in everything that we do for our clients and for our team.
Lori, quick follow-up, and then I'll come back to Michele. You didn't ascend to the chairperson position at BIA immediately. You started where?
So I started as a treasurer. I always say that as soon as an accountant joins the board, any place, they happen to be the treasurer because of their financial background. And I did start as a treasurer and worked with the financial team at NJBIA, which was fantastic. And then I did become the vice chairperson. And as a vice chairperson, we did a lot of board development and governance and things like that related to the board. And as Michele said, it was strategic to grow the board the way that we have and to have the diversity on the board that we do to, again, support the business community. And then I became the chairperson.
Along those lines, Michele, here's what I'm curious about. To what degree do you believe it's the role of a CEO, particularly obviously in your position, to think strategically, intentionally about who you want to ask to be on the board and why?
Oh my gosh, it's my job, right? I mean, it is significantly important. I know the organization, I know who we serve, I know the products that we have, and therefore I have a keen understanding of what I need around the table in order to bring the best support and leverage for what we do on the inside. Therefore, the intentionality of building out a board, this is why I'm so proud of our board. When I use the term diversity, I'm talking about it in every manner, from subject matter expertise to size of business to geography to life experiences and what they bring around the table. And if we have something significant going on, I want to look at that person who's sitting there, who's maybe those boots on the ground in that particular spot and say, talk to me about how we get from here to here based on your life experience here. So key part of my job is making sure I have the right resources around that table to advance the mission and vision of NJBIA.
So along those lines, as Mary jumps back in, Lori's expertise in the accounting world and everything related to the accounting world as a CEO is strategic and intentional.
I'll take it one up, right? So Lori came in with the expertise of her financial background in accounting, which we laugh, right? She says they make them the treasurer. I'm an attorney by trade. Every board I've been on, I've written 20,000 sets of bylaws. Okay. Right. This is exactly what a board is. You bring your expertise to the table, but I'm going to one up it. Lori is a strategic thinker. Lori's strategic planning and her vision is exactly what we need in the board chair for NJBIA, not just her accounting and financial skills.
Absolutely. Mary, and we work hard at our not-for-profit organization, the Caucus Educational Corporation. Our board is a great board. And Marjorie Perry, our chairperson of the board that both of you know well, never holds back telling me what she thinks about the vision that I communicate for our organization, and we are better for it. Mary, go ahead.
Lori, talk about that a little bit more. Michele was just singing your praises as being a strategic thinker. How do we instill that in the young adults, the Gen Zs that are coming up? They always get such a bad rap, like, you need to spoon feed everything to them and you can't give them direct feedback. How do we recruit, train, retain a younger, talented workforce while also making sure we're helping them to be strategic thinkers and not just doers? We want them to be the leaders that we know that they're capable of being.
Yeah, that's a great question and a big question. I think that...
by the way, that's what the seminar is we're doing for 2 days with the emerging leaders at Prager Metis.
Wink, wink.
But as you guys know, we do have a strategic plan. At NJBIA, we have one as well. But in our organization, we have a strategic plan, and we work towards that plan every single day. We actually do everything from agendas for meetings to goal setting to everything else by the pillars of our plan. So everyone really is aware of it, and it is, they say set the tone at the top, and it really is. If we really convey to everybody that we are strategic and that we are following a strategic plan and that everything that we do is based on that strategic plan, then I think that does permeate. And I think that, I took a leadership class, so many years ago, I can't even really remember where it was or when it was, but the thing that resonated with me was begin with the end in mind.
That's right.
And I really do always try to think that way, whether it's about my own goals, whether it's about the organization, whether it's about problem solving a specific situation. What do you want to accomplish? When you know what you want to accomplish, you can solve for how to get there. But if you're not thinking ahead and strategically and intentionally, you can't do those things. So I think if we live that way and we lead that way and we convey our message that way, then I think that that's how you can accomplish it.
Michele, a quick follow-up on what Lori just said. Strategic thinking, being more intentional, all the things that we advocate on Lessons in Leadership and our leadership seminars, et cetera, et cetera. And by the way, Michele and I did a couple of years, well, I don't know when it was, not too long ago. We did it last year, a very engaging, honest conversation about leadership challenges. I remember Lori was in the audience as well and asked probing, challenging questions along with some other great folks. Just one of the many NJBIA events. But here's what I'm curious about. Lori talks about strategic, intentional thinking. We believe in that. We try to coach it. How the heck do you plan and how the heck are we strategic when things like COVID, and I'm not comparing tariffs with COVID, but it's what you don't expect. How the heck can we be strategic and intentional where'd that come from? Go ahead.
The biggest challenge for business is when you don't have predictability and certainty, right? We say that all the time, especially to our policymakers. That's how we make investment, is when we have predictability and certainty for the long game, right? Look, we have parallel paths. And I say this all the time at BIA. We always have a proactive, strategic agenda that we are working and we are executing on, no matter what's going on out in the ecosphere. Now, do we have to be flexible and respond when things kind of bump up against it? Absolutely. But at the same time, we're always playing defense on these things that pop up, and we're ready for them. If you truly are strategic and you do second and third world order consequences of what your strategic plan is, oftentimes you're ready for things. Now, we would never have been ready for COVID, right? Isn't it amazing? All the contingency planning we ever do for everything in our lives, but the thing that always faces us is the one thing we don't have a playbook for, right?
Right.
But I'm going to finish on this thought. If you have the right culture and you have a trust environment in the group or the company or whatever table you're sitting around, and something that is thrown at you is a whammy, you can handle it because you understand how to adapt, how to be flexible, how to lean in, and how to solve for the challenge on the other side and make an opportunity out of it at the same time.
You know, I take that back. We've got a minute and a half left. Lori, Michele mentioned the word trust as part of the culture. We just did our two friends, Tom Scrivo and Kevin O'Toole Scrivo, the law firm. We had them both on. They have a 40-year partnership collaboration together. And they said trust, without trust, there's nothing else. Between the two of you, your collaboration, your partnership as chairperson of the board and CEO of BIA, Michele, is it ultimately about trust?
100%.
Go ahead. And then I'm going to ask Lori. I meant to ask Lori. Go ahead.
Well, then I answered 100%. That's how you get things done. You build trust and you can challenge anything.
Lori, my bad. Trust.
Absolutely. I was going to say from day one, the minute I met Michele, we forged our own relationship, and it definitely was based on trust. And I think
day one?
Pretty much. I mean, really, I remember I went to the women's conference. That's when I first met her. I was introduced to her by a common colleague, and it kind of went from there. And then we built our own relationship totally based on trust. As I said, NJBIA has a great team, and I know I can always rely on them, and that they're going to take the ball and run with it, and always responsive and open to suggestions and welcoming input. And I think if you lead that way, it's got to be based on trust.
Yep. Trust. Mary and I have learned to trust each other after 26 years together. It's our partnership. Your partnership is awesome to not just watch, but be a part of on our end. So to Michele and Lori, we thank you for being partners and friends and joining us on Lessons in Leadership. For Mary and our great team, whom we trust implicitly, Lessons in Leadership, Steve Adubato. We'll see you next time. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, New Jersey Transit, the North Ward Center, Gingoli Construction, New Jersey Sharing Network, Delta Dental of New Jersey, The Helix, Fedway Associates Inc., the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, inspiring great minds to greater purpose since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague Mary Gamba has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media.